The Arcturus repair station hung in the void like a crystalline snowflake, its spindly docking arms extending outward from a central hub that glowed with warm, artificial light. Chief Engineer Maya Chen stood at the observation deck, sipping her morning coffee while reviewing diagnostics from their latest repair job. A routine maintenance on a mining vessel from the Mars colonies. 3 years had passed since humanity had established their first deep space repair station, and business had been steady if unremarkable. The station specialized in fixing the countless small vessels that served humanity's modest but growing interstellar presence. It wasn't glamorous work, but it kept the lights on. Maya was about to head down to the main engineering bay when emergency klaxons shattered the morning quiet. Red warning lights bathed the corridor in crimson as the station's AI announced, "Unknown vessel approaching at high velocity. Configuration does not match any known human design." Her coffee cup clattered to the deck as she sprinted to the control room. The main display showed something that made her breath catch. A massive ship, easily 10 times the size of anything humanity had built, was decelerating toward their station. Its hull seemed to ripple with patterns of light that defied physics, and portions of its structure appeared to fold through dimensions that shouldn't exist. "Status report," she barked, sliding into the control chair. "Ship is broadcasting some kind of signal," reported Mike Santos, her communications officer. It's definitely not human, but the universal translator is trying to make sense of it." After a tense moment, broken words emerged through the station speakers. "Emergency. Critical systems failing. Require immediate assistance. No hostile intent." Maya's mind raced. First contact with an alien species, and they needed repairs. The station's board of directors would need to be notified, probably Earth's government too. But that ship was in trouble now. "Send them docking coordinates for the main bay," she ordered, "and get every engineer we have on deck." The alien vessel, which they would later learn was called the Starweaver, drew closer, and Maya could see it was badly damaged. Segments of its exotic hull were dark and lifeless, while others pulsed with erratic energy patterns that looked dangerous. When the ship finally docked, Maya led her engineering team to meet their first alien visitors. The airlock cycled, and 3 tall, silvery figures emerged. Their bodies seemed to be composed of flowing metal and light, with multiple limbs that moved with unsettling grace. "I am Nexus Guide Zarin," the foremost being announced through some kind of translation device. "Our ship has suffered catastrophic cascade failures in our primary systems. Our own repair protocols have failed. We request your assistance." Maya straightened her back, pushing down her fear and excitement. "I'm Chief Engineer Chen. We'll do everything we can to help. Can you show us the damaged systems?" What followed was the most fascinating 12 hours of Maya's life. The alien technology was incredibly advanced, operating on principles that seemed to break the laws of physics as humanity understood them. But as Maya and her team explored the ship's systems, something unexpected emerged. They could understand it. Not the theoretical principles, perhaps, but the practical problems were surprisingly familiar. Where power couplings had failed, they found ways to redirect and stabilize the energy flow. When quantum field generators started to collapse, they discovered they could reinforce them using modified versions of their own shield harmonics. The aliens watched in growing amazement as the humans, using what must have seemed like primitive tools and techniques, slowly brought their ship back to life. "This is unprecedented," Zarin said as the Starweaver systems came back online. "Our technology is generations beyond yours, yet you have repaired damage that our finest engineers could not resolve. How is this possible?" Maya wiped grease from her hands, considering the question. "Maybe that's exactly why we could fix it. We're used to working with limited tools, finding creative solutions. When something breaks, we have to really understand how it works, not just rely on automated systems to fix it." The aliens conferred among themselves in their musical language before Zarin turned back to Maya. "You have done us a great service. We will ensure others know of this place, and of humanity's unique abilities. As the Starweaver departed, Maya watched it disappear into the depths of space, knowing that everything had changed. Humanity had just proven itself valuable to a vastly superior civilization, not through military might or advanced technology, but through something far more fundamental: their ability to understand, adapt, and fix what was broken. She didn't know it then, but that day marked the beginning of humanity's rise to become one of the most important forces in the galaxy, not as conquerors or weapons builders, but as the mechanics who kept the wheels of galactic civilization turning. 3 months after the Starweaver incident, the Arcturus repair station was no longer just another human outpost in space. Ships from a dozen different alien civilizations had found their way to the station, each carrying technology that should have been far beyond humanity's ability to comprehend, let alone repair. Maya Chen stared at the holographic display showing the current dock assignments. 5 alien vessels waited in queue, their designs so varied they looked like they belonged in different universes. Her team had expanded from 20 engineers to over 100, working round the clock to keep up with demand. "Chief, you need to see this," Mike Santos called from his communication station. The Helix Confederation just dropped out of FTL at the system's edge. They're requesting emergency repairs. Maya's eyes widened. The Helix Confederation was legendary even among alien species, known for organic technology ships that were supposedly self-healing. If they needed repairs, "Clear Bay 3, she ordered. "Get Dr. Harrison from Xenobiology up here. If we're dealing with biotech, we'll need her expertise." The Helix ship was beautiful and terrifying. A massive spiral of iridescent tissue and crystalline nodes that pulsed with its own heartbeat. Its captain, a being that seemed to be made of flowing water and light, emerged from an opening that formed like a blossoming flower. "We have heard of your abilities." The captain's thoughts resonated directly in their minds. "Our ship seed suffers from a degenerative cascade that our healers cannot stop. Will you attempt to aid us?" Dr. Sarah Harrison stepped forward, medical scanner already humming. "Your ship's biological systems, they're similar to how cancer develops in human cells, aren't they? The regulatory processes have broken down." The alien captain's form rippled with surprise. "You recognize the pattern so quickly." "Yes, that is an apt comparison." What followed was a perfect example of why human repair teams had become so valued. While the alien healers thought in terms of their advanced biotechnology, the humans approached the problem from multiple angles. Harrison applied her knowledge of treating aggressive cancers, while Maya's engineers studied the ship's crystalline components that regulated its organic systems. Working together, they discovered that the degradation wasn't just biological. It was being triggered by subtle radiation from the ship's faster-than-light drive. The humans devised a makeshift radiation shield using modified panels from their own ships, combined with a treatment protocol based on human chemotherapy techniques adapted for the alien vessel's unique biology. "Remarkable," the Helix captain observed as the ship's tissues began to heal. "You created a solution using technology centuries behind ours, yet it works perfectly. How do you consistently achieve such things?" Maya watched her teams working seamlessly with the alien healers, sharing ideas and techniques across the vast gulf of their technological differences. "We have to understand problems from the ground up," she explained. "When you can't rely on advanced technology to solve everything, you learn to see patterns, make connections. Sometimes the simplest solutions are the ones that work best." The captain's liquid form swirled thoughtfully. "Perhaps that is what we have lost in our rush to advance, the fundamental understanding of how things truly work." As word of the Helix ship's repair spread, the station's reputation grew even further. More alien species arrived, not just with broken ships, but with technology it wanted humans to study and improve. The station became a melting pot of ideas, where human ingenuity met alien advancement and created something entirely new. But with the growing attention came growing pressure. Maya began noticing more military vessels among their clients, more questions about human repair techniques that seemed to probe for strategic advantages. Some alien species started offering exclusive contracts, attempting to monopolize human repair capabilities for themselves. During a rare quiet moment, Maya found herself back at her favorite observation window, watching the endless stream of alien ships approaching the station. Mike joined her, holding out a fresh cup of coffee. "Reminds me of my grandfather's repair shop back in Brazil," he said. "He used to say that the person who can fix things will never go hungry. Guess that applies to species too." Maya nodded, but her expression was troubled. "We're becoming too important, too quickly. Every major power in this sector wants to control what we can do. They don't understand that it's not just about technical skills. It's about how we think, how we solve problems." "So what do we do?" Mike asked. "We keep fixing ships," Maya said firmly. "But we also need to fix something bigger, the way these advanced species think about technology and progress. They need to understand that true innovation isn't just about having the most advanced tools. It's about understanding the basics, being creative, and never being afraid to try something new." As if to emphasize her point, a new ship appeared in the distance, a design they'd never seen before, trailing streams of plasma from its damaged engines. Another problem to solve, another chance to prove that humanity's greatest strength wasn't in their technology, but in their ability to understand, adapt, and improve upon even the most advanced systems in the galaxy. The reputation of human repair stations was spreading across the stars, but so too were the complications that came with such recognition. Maya couldn't help but wonder how long they could maintain their independence in a galaxy where knowledge and power were increasingly becoming the same thing. Maya Chen was in the middle of a particularly delicate repair on a quantum drive when the station's security alert sounded. She carefully set down her tools and hurried to the control room, where she found Mike Santos staring at the tactical display with evident concern. "3 warships just dropped out of FTL," he reported. "Dominion signatures." He didn't need to elaborate. The Dominion was one of the most powerful military forces in the sector, known for taking what they wanted through force or intimidation. The lead Dominion ship was massive, its dark hull covered in weapon ports that glowed with barely contained energy. Its design was meant to inspire fear, and it succeeded. But what caught Maya's attention were the subtle signs of deterioration in its hull structure, microscopic stress fractures that shouldn't exist in such an advanced vessel. "They're requesting immediate docking clearance," Mike said. "Actually, no, they're demanding it." Before Maya could respond, the main screen lit up with the image of a Dominion commander. Their species resembled angular crystalline structures, their bodies refracting light in complex patterns that indicated their emotional state. Right now, those patterns spelled authority and impatience. "I am Supreme Commander Vexthor of the Dominion Fleet," the being announced. "Your repair facilities are now under Dominion protection. We will oversee all future operations to ensure proper distribution of your services." Maya felt her jaw tighten. "Commander, this is a neutral facility. We serve all species equally, as we always have. Neutrality is a luxury you can no longer afford," Vexthor replied. "Your abilities are too valuable to remain uncontrolled. The Dominion will ensure they are used appropriately." As if to emphasize the point, the Dominion ships moved into a triangular formation around the station, but Maya had been expecting something like this for months. She opened a secure channel to her engineering teams. "Initialize Protocol Omega," she ordered quietly. Throughout the station, human engineers began subtle adjustments to systems they'd modified over the past several months. Every alien ship they'd repaired had taught them something new, and they'd used that knowledge to prepare for this moment. "Commander," Maya said carefully, "I notice your flagship's showing signs of cascade failure in its structural integrity field. Those stress fractures in your hull aren't just cosmetic, are they?" The crystalline patterns of Vexthor's form shifted in surprise. "How could you possibly?" "The same way we can see that your weapon systems are slowly burning out their containment fields," Maya continued. "Advanced technology requires perfect maintenance. Miss one small detail, and the whole system starts to break down. The Dominion commander's patterns shifted to something closer to concern. "You dare threaten." "Not threatening," Maya interrupted, offering help. "But we do it our way, freely, equally, for anyone who needs it. That's not negotiable." A tense silence followed as more warning lights began flashing on the Dominion ship's hulls. Maya had been telling the truth. Their systems were degrading, just as she'd observed. The only question was whether their pride would let them admit it. Finally, Vexthor's crystalline form dimmed slightly. "Perhaps we could discuss a mutual cooperation agreement instead." But before negotiations could begin, new alerts flashed across the tactical display. More ships were arriving. The organic vessels of the Helix Confederation, the reality-bending ships of Zarin's people, and others they'd helped over the months. All took up defensive positions around the station. The humans must remain independent. The Helix captain's thoughts resonated across all channels. Their gift is in their freedom to think differently, to solve problems in their own way. Try to control that, and you destroy what makes them valuable. Maya watched as the standoff developed. Dozens of the most powerful ships in the galaxy facing each other over a simple repair station. But it wasn't really about the station anymore. It was about humanity's unique place in the galactic community. "Commander Vexthor," she said firmly, "we'll happily repair your ships. We'll even teach your engineers some of our methods. But we do it as equals, not subjects. That's the only way this works." The Dominion ships held their position for a long moment before finally powering down their weapons. "Very well," Vexthor conceded, "but know that the Dominion will be watching closely." As the crisis diffused, Maya knew this was only the beginning. Humanity's repair stations had become too important to ignore, but too dangerous to control. They'd have to find a new way forward, one that preserved their independence while serving the galaxy's needs. "Send word to all human repair stations," she told Mike. "Tell them to be ready. The galaxy's about to become a lot more complicated." In her office later, Maya studied the repair logs from the past few months. Each solved problem, each fixed ship, each improved system had taught them something new. The aliens might have more advanced technology, but humanity's strength lay in understanding how things worked at their most basic level, and that understanding was becoming the most valuable resource in the galaxy. The Arcturus repair station's emergency alarms blared to life at 300 station time. Maya Chin was already awake, reviewing modification plans when the tactical display lit up with dozens of incoming signatures. This wasn't just another show of force. It was an invasion fleet. Multiple Dominion warships detected, the station's AI announced. Calculating trajectories. They're forming a containment grid. Additional hostile forces identified. Krell battle cruisers and Nexus destroyers joining formation. Maya's hands flew across her console, activating the station-wide alert. "So they decided to work together after all," she muttered. After months of failed diplomatic pressure and economic threats, the major powers had apparently decided to take what they couldn't buy. "All personnel to emergency stations," she ordered. "Initiate Protocol Phoenix." Throughout the station, human engineers rushed to their positions. They'd spent months preparing for this possibility, studying every piece of alien technology they'd repaired, understanding not just how it worked, but how it could work better. The lead Dominion ship broadcast its message across all frequencies. "Surrender control of your facility immediately. Resistance will not be tolerated. Your knowledge and abilities are now subject to galactic authority." Maya opened a channel to her engineering teams. "Is everyone ready?" "Engineering teams report ready," Mike confirmed from his station. "Though I hope whatever you've been planning actually works." Maya allowed herself a small smile. Time to show them why trying to control human innovation is a bad idea. The invasion fleet moved closer, their weapons charged. But instead of powering up defensive shields, the human station began broadcasting on frequencies that seemed random at first. The alien ship's sensors registered nothing threatening, until their systems began to change. Quantum field generators that humans had repaired months ago suddenly activated in new configurations. Biotechnology components from Helix ships interfaced with crystalline matrices in ways their creators had never imagined. Energy distribution networks that humans had studied and improved began operating at frequencies that created unexpected resonances. On the Dominion flagship, Commander Vexthor watched in growing alarm as his ship's systems began responding to external commands. Impossible. They're using our own repair protocols against us. Every ship the humans had ever repaired had taught them something. Every piece of technology it had studied had shown them new possibilities. Now they were combining that knowledge in ways the aliens had never considered. Your ships are currently experiencing what we call a systems integration cascade. Maya broadcast to the fleet. Nothing is damaged. We're just showing you what happens when you really understand how things work together. The alien vessels hung in space, their weapons powered down, their engines operating at minimum capacity. The humans hadn't attacked them. They'd simply shown them how vulnerable advanced technology could be when faced with true innovation. You dare, Vexthor began, but Maya cut him off. We dared to learn. Every time we fixed your ships, we didn't just repair them. We understood them. Not just the individual systems, but how they could work together. How they could be better. That's what you've never understood about humans. We don't just fix things. We improve them. Through the station's windows, Maya could see the alien ships attempting to regain control of their systems. But the humans' modifications were elegant in their simplicity, using the ship's own maintenance protocols to maintain the lockdown. Here's what's going to happen, Maya continued. We're going to release control of your ships. Then we're going to have a real discussion about humanity's place in the galaxy. Not as servants, not as a resource to be controlled, but as partners who can help everyone advance. The standoff lasted for several tense minutes before the first response came, not from the Dominion, but from one of the Helix ships that had joined their fleet. The humans speak truth, the Helix captain broadcasted. Their understanding surpasses our technology. We should listen. One by one, the alien ships powered down their weapons. The invasion force that had come to seize control of human innovation had instead become proof of why that innovation needed to remain free. Hours later, as Maya sat in her office drafting the terms of a new Galactic repair accord, Mike brought her a fresh cup of coffee. You know, he said, my grandfather would have loved this. He always said the best mechanics don't just fix what's broken. They make sure it works better than before. Maya nodded, looking out at the now peaceful fleet of alien ships. That's what they never understood. They thought they could take our ability to repair things, but they didn't realize that our real strength is in understanding how everything connects, and making those connections work better than anyone thought possible. 1 year after the failed invasion of Arcturus Station, the repair facility had transformed. Once a simple space dock, it now served as humanity's first galactic innovation center. Its halls filled with both human engineers and alien scientists working side by side. Maya Chen stood in the newly constructed observation dome, watching a Helix bioship and a Dominion cruiser dock simultaneously. The sight still amazed her, former adversaries, now coming together under human guidance. Commander Vexthor's flagship was among them, though the Dominion leader had swallowed considerable pride to be here. The latest results from the joint research project are in, Mike Santos reported, joining her at the window. The hybrid drive system we developed. It's increased efficiency by 300% across all test vessels. Maya nodded, remembering how this all began, with one damaged alien ship and a team of human engineers who weren't afraid to think differently, and the Helix integration protocols. Working better than expected. Their organic technology interfaces perfectly with the crystalline matrices once you understand the base principles. Who would have thought cancer treatment research would help us revolutionize starship design? The station had become more than just a repair facility. It was now a symbol of a new kind of power in the galaxy, not the power of advanced technology or military might, but the power of understanding, innovation, and collaboration. A soft chime announced a visitor. Maya turned to see Zarin, the Nexus guide whose damaged ship had started it all. Gliding into the dome, the beam's form still flowed like liquid metal, but now wore markings indicating their position as ambassador of technological cooperation. "The Galactic Council has approved your proposal," Zarin announced. "All species will have access to human innovation centers, but humanity will retain its independence and authority over repair protocols." "And the knowledge-sharing initiative?" Maya asked. "Also approved. Your suggestion that every species contribute their understanding, not just their technology, was persuasive, especially after recent demonstrations of human insight." Maya smiled, remembering the failed invasion and its aftermath. The aliens had come expecting to find a primitive species they could control. Instead, they'd found partners who could help them all advance. In the docking bay below, human engineers worked alongside alien technicians, teaching them not just to repair systems, but to understand them. Each species brought their own perspective, their own knowledge, and together they were creating something entirely new. "There's a Krell scientist who wants to meet with you," Mike mentioned. "Says she has a theory about applying your biotech integration principles to their quantum manifolds." "Schedule it for tomorrow," Maya replied. "And make sure Dr. Harrison is there. Her medical background might help spot connections we'd miss otherwise." This was humanity's true gift to the galaxy, not just the ability to fix things, but to see connections others missed, to combine different fields of knowledge in unexpected ways. Their primitive perspective had turned out to be exactly what the advanced species needed. The observation dome filled with the golden light of the system's sun, illuminating the dozens of ships now orbiting the station. Each one represented a different species, a different approach to technology, a different way of thinking. And at the center of it all were the humans, not the most advanced or powerful, but perhaps the most important. "Your species continues to surprise us," Zarin observed. "We thought we were teaching you about advanced technology. Instead, you taught us how to think about it differently." Maya watched as a newly repaired ship departed the station, its systems not just fixed, but improved through the collaboration of multiple species. "Sometimes the best way forward isn't about having the most advanced technology," she said. "It's about understanding how everything works together." The galaxy had changed. The power balance had shifted not through force or conquest, but through understanding and innovation. Humanity had found its place, not as servants or masters, but as teachers, innovators, and bridges between different ways of thinking. As Maya reviewed plans for new repair stations across the galaxy, she realized that they had achieved something far greater than just fixing ships. They had fixed a fundamental flaw in how advanced species thought about progress, showing them that true innovation comes not from isolation and superiority, but from collaboration and understanding. The future would bring new challenges, new technologies, new problems to solve. But humanity was ready, armed not with the most powerful weapons or the most advanced ships, but with something far more valuable: the ability to understand, adapt, and improve upon whatever the galaxy might bring their way.